definitely the most brown out of all of them.
Yeah.
Do you like it because it's the most brown?
I like it because it's pretty, but I don't know what it looks good on me. Do you have a sense of what?
What makes it look pretty to you?
That. I think it's brown.
Yeah, right? Probably that it's brown. These are too gray.
Too gray. I mean, one day I would like to rock that, but I feel like I'm not quite yet ready.
Do you like that?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
What do you like about this?
I think the multi-dimensions.
It's like dark in between.
It's nice and soft and...
Okay, so you like the dimension in that one. This one...
I think it's soft.
This one has less dimension.
It does have less dimension.
Which one do you prefer?
I don't know.
This one definitely has more color. We can start off here and then maybe go towards there.
Yeah.
Are you liking the tone of this one better?
I like the tone of that one better, I think.
Okay, this one's more brown.
Yeah.
This one's a little like brown blonde.
Yeah, and I think the blonde, I'm wary of, I should probably dig up an old picture of me where I got a balayage where it was blonde and it looked just like a little too fake or a little too like, I don't know.
Too much.
Too much, yeah.
Because you're used to the dark hair?
Yeah,
okay.
Probably. Yeah.
So we'll do this blend, but that tone.
Okay.
Okay.
And then also there's something about this I liked. Maybe it was the dimension.
The dark.
And then,
not so much of that. It's more of that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. And then we already cut your hair, so you're good, right?
Yes,
just
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you a gray blending transformation in the sense that we're going to be doing gray blending with a brunette and how to incorporate that and what to kind of go over with a client before starting it. So this specific client, I've never done highlights in her hair. She was going to a previous stylist doing base color. She did come in to me prior to this appointment and we basically just did a haircut and then we did a demi gray blending coverage, and what that is using a demi-permanent to kind of blend her root. So you can see she has a bit of regrowth. It had been probably a month after that demi blend that we did, and it did kind of sheerly cover her gray. I used like a level 3 or 4 for the demi, and we just mixed it with just 5 volume. I put her under the dryer for a little bit to kind of help give a bit of more coverage on her white hair. But I did that, and this appointment, now that we're kind of getting closer, at the time it was getting closer towards the spring of the year, so she was wanting to go a little bit lighter and kind of also just steer away from covering her gray completely. She wants to eventually go lighter and have something that is going to grow out really seamlessly, something that feels really low maintenance, and when it grows out it doesn't have that harsh line of demarcation like permanent color does. She did say that she liked the demi from the previous appointment, and you could see that even though we did a demi, it did kind of cover her gray pretty well. An up close video, like, we could see that a lot of the grays were still there, but they weren't as white. So since we're going in and going a little bit lighter, we're just going to be doing more of a highlighted balayage placement for her gray blending for today. So if you are new here, I typically will always start in the back, and the reason why I start in the back is because it takes me about an hour or so to kind of foil everybody and do a full application like this. And sometimes since we start in the back, oftentimes the back does get ready before the front, so it's just a lot easier to rinse out those foils that are done a little bit sooner if they are in the back, because the client does have their head backwards into the bowl, so we're able to rinse those foils out a lot easier by starting in the back. And sometimes I still will do like a lower developer in the back too, to kind of help prevent washing out the back a little bit too soon. It just kind of gives me some time to finish up the whole application, so I'm not rinsing any foils out before I'm done applying. So since this is her first round of lightening application, I'm going to utilize slices in a lot of this placement. And then when she comes in for her touch up, that's when I'll kind of decide based off of how she's feeling and the grow out, whether I will continue doing slices or I'll start doing some weaves in between the foils with the same type of placement. And so I normally will take a mohawk section up the back after I detail the hairline, and then now I'm kind of connecting that top mohawk with the front. So right now I'm working on that front money piece section, and we are doing a baby light here because I want some softness. I don't want anything that's going to be too chunky or grow out kind of harsh. So I do a couple baby lights. She does have some baby hairs too, so I am weaving them. I don't want to emphasize them too much. So whatever falls out, I just kind of let those baby hairs fall out. And I'm just trying to just blend this part, leaving no negative space in between the weaves other than the dropout from the weave. And she did say that she wanted the front to be just a little bit lighter as far as the blend. So we are doing 3 baby lights back to back, and then leaving some negative space while we kind of revert back to doing our slices to kind of finish off the top mohawk section. And this mohawk section does kind of change depending on slight placement if they part their hair to the side, but generally I'll try to do something a little bit off center. If they are a side parter, she parts in the middle, so we're going and doing it in the middle. And right now this slice that I'm doing right after those 3 baby lights is pretty close together to the other baby light, and as I go towards the back, I am going to be spacing these slices just a little bit further apart until I reach the other side of that mohawk. So we also decided that since we did the demi last time, she kind of got a glimpse of what the demi kind of does with her hair, and this time around, since we're doing more highlights and she doesn't really have any patches of white hair in my opinion, we decided to kind of just skip the demi portion of putting it in between the foils to see how she feels. And the follow-up appointment, after this appointment, she felt like the grow out was fine. It didn't bother her seeing some gray in between the highlights at all, and ultimately that kind of gives the softest grow out. Now I will say that it is debatable whether or not that really fully blends with the natural gray, because you're toning the highlights to be more brunette. So I would say when clients kind of ask me if that really does blend, it really just depends on your preference. Some clients feels like it does, and some clients feel like it doesn't. So it's really your preference, but I always say if a client is unsure whether or not they want to like incorporate adding in the demi, I would always go without it first to see whether or not it's an issue with how it grows out, how it fades, how you're feeling when you leave the salon, seeing the white in between the highlights, and then address the issue later if there is any at all. And the second time around, then you can see if you really need it or not. And I would say it's kind of 50-50 about my clients, whether they feel like they need it or not. Some clients are totally fine seeing their gray in between the highlights, because as this color fades out too, it does get lighter, it does get warmer. And typically when it gets lighter too, that helps with the blend. As it starts to grow out, it does get lighter, and that does help blend. And then also having the whites in between kind of gives it an already blend, so when it does grow in, it kind of makes it look like those white hairs are part of the color and part of the highlights too. Now some clients feel like it doesn't blend because they see the grays and it bothers them seeing any type of gray, and that's just a preference too. So in that case you could do a demi. And if you're feeling like the clients are coming in a little bit too soon, just like they would for a root touch up for permanent color, I would say what I've started doing for a lot of those clients that feel like they don't want to see any gray at all is we will do demi appointments in between their foil appointments, because those clients are just feeling like they want more coverage, and there's really no point in doing a highlight with the demi coverage blend a little too soon, because it's technically not, it doesn't make any sense for me at least when there's not that much regrowth to do a highlight in about 6 to 8 weeks. And so most of the time we'll do a demi and then maybe do the highlights every other appointment or every 2 appointments with their demi, just depending on their budget, their lifestyle, however they're feeling about their color and all those things. And those are just some things too, like, that you can decide with your client to figure out what regimen would work best with them as they start to transition. So as I'm working towards the sides, I did kind of connect those money piece. I did some baby lights on the side. I did a weave above the ear, and now I'm continuing my slicing pattern up her sides, connecting that front to that back mohawk. And it's really simple. I feel like this is a very simple placement, but with changing up the spacing of your foils, changing up your weave pattern versus slices can really change the entire look of this placement. So now that I've done most of her root foils, I'm going to be going in and adding some tip outs to kind of just elevate the look. Now this part is optional. I will say if you like the aesthetic to where the roots are darker and then it kind of, the color gets a little bit lighter towards the ends, then this is perfect for that. If you are a client or you like the stylist and you like that look where the highlights are dimensional from root to ends and it's very cohesive, then I would skip this part. But what this does is essentially just kind of brightens the ends a little bit, adds more color through the ends, and just makes it look super lived in. Because naturally blondes, when the sun lightens their hair, the ends naturally get lighter and around the face it gets lighter. So this kind of just mimics that type of blend. So I always start around with the tip outs around the face, around the money piece, to kind of really focus and do a more heavier placement there. And then I kind of revert and start adding a little bit more dimension as I do the tip outs towards the back. And when I do my tip outs, I always like to take thinner sections than I would normal foil, just to ensure a proper saturation. So for all my brunettes that are naturally a level 5 and below, I typically, unless they want a warm brunette color, I typically will lighten them at least to a level 8, but never past a level 9. The reason for that is because anything below a level 8, you're going to see orange when the color fades out. And then anything above a level 9, you're going to have to add some warmth back into your formulas to kind of neutralize it so that the color doesn't look too ashy or gray. So I lifted her to about a level 8 and 9, and then I went in and we toned her with the Danger Jones gloss toners. I used a 5-8 with a 6-0 for her root, and then on the ends we did a 7-8 with a 6-0 on the very ends. Now, when I toned her, we did tone her to be a little bit darker than her inspo pictures that we originally saw in the consultation, only because when she originally texted me in the consult through text, she showed me pictures that were a little bit more of a darker brunette, and we opted to do more of the darker brunette because we knew that it was going to fade into the photos that she did show me in the consult previous that you guys saw in this video. So to get the most longevity out of the color, we decided to just do more of that deeper brunette color so that it lasts her longer and fades out prettier, and she can still feel brunette without feeling too blonde. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. I absolutely loved it. We didn't do the demi in between, so you could see a little bit of her sparkle natural gray in between the highlights, but that is going to ultimately give her a really soft grow out in the end. Overall, I feel like the color looks really great and the roots look nice and blended. When this lightens up, it is going to lighten up into more of a lighter brown, and then she's able to go longer than that normal like 6 weeks for her base color. In between for her touch-ups, the second time she came in, she waited about like 8 to 10 weeks, and then after that we are going to be waiting 4 months because she felt like the gras and the fade was actually really good and she could last that long. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.